All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into a Worth account demonstration. So what I'm going to do is I'm in my agent portal. You all know this screen pretty well. This is the Worth main agent portal area. I'm going to go to Max Saunders. You all would have access to the demo account exactly the same way. And I'm going to go down here to Worth account demo. It's going to bring up our demo screen. Now, a couple things I want to tell you. If you're doing a demo for a client, one of the first things you want to do is you want to go into settings and you want to reset your account so you know that you're starting with a known good demo. So I had used the checking and savings method. I'm going to go ahead and reset the account. Now, if you're giving this demonstration for a client, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you write down the numbers at the very top in the dashboard. This is the settings I prefer: interest remaining, years to pay off, interest saved, and actual interest saved. Obviously, the program's just starting off, so there's no actual. So we want to write down $68,459. We want to write down 9.3 years, and we want to write down $173,287, and then 0 for our potential to be saved. The other thing that we want to write down is these items right here. These items are the funds transfer that the program automatically creates. The funds transfers are the teeth of this program. Through the program, what you're going to do is you're going to put in your budgeted items, and you do that just by editing or add income, add expense, add transfer. You're going to build out your budget. In this particular case, we can see that John and Rebecca make $5,000 a month, and we can see that they spend $4,044, and that's their living expenses with all their debts. So we can see that they have a discretionary income of $955.24. So we want to see where we're deriving these numbers. It's from these income and budgeted items, and then if we move over to accounts, we can see under accounts we have an auto loan at $25,000, a Visa at $2,000, a first mortgage at $200,000, and a home equity line of credit at $3,500. Now remember, I am using the checking and savings method for this demonstration, but I just want you to see something here. If we go back to the action plan, we're going to write down savings to Visa, and that's in the amount of $2,000. That's an automatically generated funds transfer by the program. We can see savings to HELOC, and that is in the amount of $1,023, and both of these occur on 6/1/2019. And then if we drop down here, we can see on 6/15, we have checking to savings, and that is in the amount of $829.45. And these funds transfers, this action plan that you're looking at is your to-do list. Now, the action plan in your demo account is 2 months behind, and the reason we do that is so you can actually execute operations, because even though it's a demo, it's in real time. So if we started the demonstration off on August 1st, you could only execute transactions up until August 26th during your demonstration. So that's why we go through the process of making the demo 2 months behind, so you can go in and actually play with it and be able to give a good, strong demonstration to your client. What we're going to find out is that with this budget, with these accounts, the program is telling the client if they follow the action plan that they will pay off in 9.3 years. They'll pay back $68,459 in interest, and they have a potential to save $173,287. I do want you to know, if you just cursor over the cross here, there are different settings that you can use for your dashboard, whatever motivates you the most. These are the settings that I like the most. All right, so in this also we do have a very robust reports feature where you can go in and do budget and net worth and time frame and search, and be able to stay on top of your finances in a more detailed fashion. You also have an accounts overview over here to the right side at a glance, and a budget overview over here to the right side at a glance that will help you stay on top of your financing as well. All right, well, John and Rebecca Jones, we're going to go ahead and start this off. And we have our dashboard with interest remaining years to pay off and interest saved. If you all would write those numbers down just to track with me, that would be excellent. And write down the dates and where the money's coming from and where the money's coming to for these funds transfers. And the last thing I want to tell you about the transfers. As I said, this is the teeth of the program. If you do really good on your budget, if you stay within the parameters of your budget, you'll find, or do better on your budget, spend less money, you'll find that the funds transfers will become more frequent and they will increase in dollar value. But the converse is always also true. If you get out of budget, if you overspend, if you have a purchase that comes up that you didn't anticipate, you will find that the funds transfers will become smaller in dollar amount and they will get pushed out. They'll become more infrequent. So where we talk about this program as a financial GPS, a GPS follows you when you're on track. It leads you when you're on track. When you get off of track, a financial GPS follows you, correcting your course, recalculating your route. Our program does the exact same thing. While you're on course, the program is leading you. When you get off track, the program is following you and giving you prompts, trying to get you back on course. So with $5,000 a month and spending $4,044 a month, we're going to say that John is a commission-based employee. And John didn't have a very good 2 weeks, we'll say. And we'll say for that 2-week period, John only received $1 in commission. Now, I want you to think about this. He's supposed to receive $1,300. Now, if he only has $955 of discretionary income, and he just lost $1,300 of income in that month, I think we can all agree that if John and Rebecca were doing something like this on their own with a static spreadsheet, they would not be sending any money to any debt for a funds transfer whatsoever. Not only have they eaten up all of their discretionary income of $955, but they've actually moved into about $345 of money that they need just to pay their bills. Well, let's see how the program would handle this. We're going to go to execute. We're going to come in here and we're going to show that they received $1. And we're going to say that this is the final transaction. Now, do know down here you can build your own tags. You can build your own categories. You can categorize a commission however you want. Do your tags however you want. That's really up to your own structure. By saying final transaction, what I'm saying is this is the only paycheck that John is going to receive on 6/1/2019. So let's go ahead and execute this transaction, and let's see what happens to the numbers. Okay, if we notice $68,459 interest remaining became $69,449. So we can see that went up by a little bit, but it didn't go up by $1,300. It went up by the amount of interest. Losing that $1,300 is going to apply to their overall journey of getting out of debt. We can see that it stayed at 9.3 years, and we can see that our potential to save interest dropped to $172,297. Well, why did the years to pay off not change? If everything else changed, why did the years to pay off not change? Well, the reason being is the program saying at this point, you losing that paycheck is just a hiccup. I'm looking at the long run. If you've lost one paycheck, it doesn't defeat your entire program. You can see that it created a brand new line here, and this brand new line is telling John and Rebecca to take money out of their savings account in the amount of $1,232.97 and put that in the checking account, and that's so they have the money to pay their mortgage payment and they have the money to pay their HELOC payment that are both coming due. So I hope that makes sense. But here's what I want you to really see. You can see here that the program is telling John and Rebecca, remember we had a savings to the Visa in the amount of $2,000 was our original funds transfer, and we can see that that particular funds transfer has changed, It's still on 6/1. It has moved from savings to Visa, and now it is only in the amount of $1,724.56. We can see how the program adjusted for John and Rebecca in two areas. One, to pull the money from savings so they have money to pay their bills, and pull some additional money from savings to apply to that Visa. We can see that the dollar amount went down because John and Rebecca went out of budget. We could come down here as well and see that there's another funds transfer on 6/15, and that is checking to savings, and that is the amount of $715. Well, we had that before John lost his paycheck, and from checking to savings, we were supposed to transfer $829.45. We can see the programs reduce that to $715. Now, there was another funds transfer. If you remember, there was three, and that was from savings to the home equity line of credit, and that was the amount of $1,023. And we can see that the program has removed that funds transfer completely. See, the program, when John didn't receive his paycheck, the program automatically started adjusting. If you notice, I didn't have to do anything with the program, but just give it the information, and it did all of the adjustments on its own. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go in and we're just going to select a month so I can show you that you do have that function and capacity to be able to execute multiple actions at one time. So we're going to go ahead and execute multiple actions. And in your program, you will be executing operations as well. We're going to say this one right down here is going to go to home, and this is going to go to a mortgage payment. We're going to say this right here is a funds transfer. We're going to say this is our first mortgage payment. Now, once you select all of these categories, then it becomes pretty simple because it will save your categories. I'm just going to put the Visa under entertainment. And let's see, I'm going to put checking to savings. And we're going to put that as a transfer, and checking to Visa, and we're going to put that to entertainment as well. And we're going to say checking to the auto loan, and we're going to say that's for automobile. Where do we go? Down at the bottom there. And we're going to say auto payment. So we have all of these items. Now, this is very important that you select final transaction. So let me just grab one of these. Let's use food and dining, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these as the final transaction, but I'm going to take the food and dining and say as of this time, we've only spent $275 out of our $400 budget, and we're not going to say that's the final transaction. The reason we're not is we still have $125 in that budget that we can use, and I want to show you why it is you select final transaction to remove them from the action plan, and the ones you don't to keep them on the action plan. So we're going to execute this, and we're going to see that everything went away for that month. It was all categorized. The dollar amounts were verified. The dates were verified, but the food and dining budget did not go away because I had not used all of that money. Now, we can see with that 1 month gone by, I'll go ahead and just hold this way. We'll go ahead and we'll go to execute on this final action. We will say it's the final action, and we did spend the $125, and we'll execute that dollar amount, and we'll see it go away. Okay, so now we're in July. Now, July is saying that we have, since we've been through a month, that we have $68,342.11 remaining in interest remaining. We have 9.3 years still remaining, and we have $172,440 is our potential to save interest. And if you noticed, actual populated there at $2,208.24. The reason that the actual populated was, remember, we had 3 funds transfers in that month total. We had the transfer to savings, and then we had the savings to the Visa, and we had the checking to the savings account. So we can see that the program integrated that information, and to this point, just 1 month in, we've already saved $2,208 in future interest. This is where it gets exciting for the client, where they can start to see their progress moving forward. They can start to see how things are operating for them. All right, let's go into the budget again, and let's go to Rebecca's paycheck. And the login just took me out. And I don't know what I just did. Apologize, you all. Do not know what just happened there. All right, we're right back where we were. All right, sorry about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our budget, and we're going to say that Rebecca got a very small pay increase. We're going to say that Rebecca is now going to be paid biweekly, and we're going to say that Rebecca is going to pick up an extra $10 per paycheck. And remember, we have $68,342. We have 9.3 years. We have $172,440. We're going to go ahead and save this information. We're going to go back to our action plan. And we can see that that checking to savings funds transfer increased pretty heavily. It increased from $715 to $1,060. But look at our dashboard with that small pay increase. She is now at 9.8, she is now at 8.3 years. We are now at 60,868. So do you realize that that small pay increase took 1 year off of her total and took away over $8,000 in future interest just by that small pay increase? Now, the beauty of this is most people that get a little bit of a pay increase, you know, that'll usually relate to a couple additional hamburgers or going out or maybe going to a movie. But with this program, by telling it the reality of what's transpired, the program has the ability to interact with the customer and keep leading that client to the most mathematical solution to getting to zero debt. So we can see that we're at now a potential to save $179,914, and our actual is $2,208.24 because we haven't done any additional funds transfers. All right, I did want to show you something here. Now, you notice that I'm using the checking and savings method, and everything here is saying money from checking, from checking, from checking to pay all of these bills. I want to show you how easy it is to switch this over to the home equity line of credit method. You know that our program will work with a line of credit, or it will work with just a checking and savings account. And it's just as simple as going into the settings here, going down to your preferences, and then where it says line of credit, just click on line of credit. You can see the time to pay off is roughly the same, 8.3 years. But with the line of credit, you can see now all the money is coming from the HELOC. Can everybody see that? This is how easy it is to switch it over. Now, it'll still pay off in 8.3 years, and you'll have $61,249 in total interest that you will have to pay by utilizing the HELOC methodology, because you will pay some interest on the home equity line of credit. So let me go back into settings. Let me go back to preferences, and let's go ahead and let's put it back to the checking and savings method. And the reason I like doing the demo with the checking and savings method is because there's people out there that cannot get a home equity line of credit or a line of credit at this point. And we just want you to know by seeing that there that the differential between paying off with a line of credit and paying off with a checking and savings account is really, really very minimal. It's not an extravagant difference. So the idea is get on the program. If you don't have a line of credit, start out with the checking and savings method. And then as you're paying down your mortgage and your other debts, obviously your credit scores will increase, your equity in the home will increase, and then you can approach one of your lenders about the possibility of a line of credit, a home equity line of credit, or something along those lines. All right, so I'm in a situation where I have two kids that are in college, and one of my children is actually buying an automobile from me. So in order to teach them a little bit, I decided that I would, co-sign on the car. I would get them a payment. I would basically take over the car, and then they would pay me. And whatever my payment was, I told them right up front I was going to add a little bit of money to that payment to kind of teach them about interest and to kind of teach them about their responsibility to something along those lines. So let's say that we did this. Let's say I want to add a new account, okay? So I'm going to go into this account, and I'm going to add a new account, and this is going to be a creditor or a loan. And I'm going to call this auto, and the lender is going to be me. And then we're going to put start balance. I'm going to put the start balance at $25,000, just like I had the automobile originally. I'm going to put the interest rate. I think I have the interest rate in here at 4. We're going to put the interest rate at 4%. And we're going to put the all right, there we go. And we're going to put the payment in on this one at $460.61. We're going to change the date that this will be due to July. We're going to put that at the 1st so it'll appear on our dashboard and advanced. And we'll just say that we're paying it from my checking account. And we're going to go ahead and save this account. See, I can even make mistakes. And the thing I love about this is the program will correct you if you have something that is inaccurate. So we're going to go ahead and save that information. Now we've added a whole new car here. Now what I want you to see is by adding another $25,000 car, we went to $76,678. We went to 9.4 years. Now remember, we were at 8.3 years. So I just want you to realize that adding a whole new automobile in here, all it did was added a year and a month to your total payoff of everything. I mean, that's amazing because that should be a 5-year car note. But we're not finished here. What we're going to do is we're going to go into the budget real quick, and we're going to add an income. And the income that we're going to add is going to be for the car. And the reason I'm adding an income is we're going to select a category. We're going to say it's income, and we're going to say it's in the amount of $475. Remember, the car payment is $460. I'm going to charge my kids $475 per month in order to have that car, and I'm going to change this to the first date being July And we're going to do that at the first, and we're going to save this, and watch what happens to the dashboard. Look at this. Our dashboard goes to $61,494, and we pay everything off. That's both cars. That's the mortgage. That's everything. That's both cars, the mortgage, the home equity line of credit, and the Visa, and the mortgage, all paid to zero in 7.8 years, and they only have $61,494 remaining. Now, potential to save interest, we can see that that is elevated to $181,912, and we can see that our actual is still 2208 and 24. And if we look on July 5th, we can see that it's telling us to do a transfer, a funds transfer of $1,075.27. Now, I know a lot of you are looking at that going, man, that's just too good to be true. But no, I want you to look at it from the perspective. We were at that 9.4 years. We rose up to that when we added the car from 8.3. It only added a year and a month to add that whole new car. Then we put an income in that was just $15 and change more than what the monthly payment usually should be on that car. We can see the car here, and we can see the income here for the car. I did it that way so you'd be able to see both of them side by side, that there's the income for the car and there's the car. And by doing that, we are now at $61,494, 7.8 years to pay off, and the potential to save $181,912. Well, let's say that John and Rebecca are looking at this and they're like, you know what? We're doing really good here. You always wanted that ATV, John. Why don't we see what buying that ATV would do? Now, this is a way to ask the program a question. I'm also going to show you another feature here as well. What we're going to do is we're going to add an action, and it's going to be a withdrawal. In other words, we're going to spend money. We're going to say that we're going to take this money out of our home equity line in this case, and this is going to be for an ATV, and we're going to say that we're going to do this in July. And the reason I keep using July is so it'll show here on the action plan so you can see what I'm doing. So we're going to do July, and we're going to do July 1st, and we're going to say this ATV is $8,000. And the category that we're going to put it into, let's just put it into, we'll put it in health and fitness just for our purposes today, because that will help John stay healthy and fit. All right, so we're doing $8,000 on this, and what we're doing is we're asking the program a question. We have not actually integrated this. We haven't made the purchase. This is a way before you purchase something that you can ask the program a question how it's going to integrate and affect everything else. All right, so we're going to save this information, and we see the ATV comes in right here. Okay, we can see that ATV. Now, we went from $61,494. We're now at $69,502. We went from 7.8 to 8.1 years, $8,000 a purchase, and we only added about 5 months total to our payoff, but our potential to save interest has decreased to $173,904. Now, this is the feature I wanted to show you. You see this little button here called True Cost? Well, if we click on the True Cost button, look what populates under that $8,000. $14,248. So what that line is telling you is that not only is your ATV going to cost you $8,000 in principal, but it's going to cost you an additional $6,248 in overall interest, not $6,248 on the ATV, but because you're spending that $8,000, that's money you're taking away from your funds transfers, from paying off your mortgage, paying off the cars, paying off of all those items. Now, I've had a lot of people tell me, for the love of everything, do not show my partner that True Cost button because they'll never let me buy anything else again. But I want you to really think about this for a moment. When John and Rebecca started, before they ever got on the program, they had a 30-year mortgage. They had a 5-year car note. They were in debt. They got on the program and started out with the potential to save $173,000 worth of interest in 9.3 years. They've lost a paycheck last month. They went and bought another car and are giving that over to their children and taking some income for that. And now they're buying an $8,000 ATV, and the program is still saying you can pay all of this off in 8.1 years, and you'll only pay back $69,502. Now, I don't know. There has to be a discussion between John and Rebecca, and they may decide, you know what, maybe we don't need the ATV right now. Maybe we do need the ATV right now. But at least they have an integration of this information, not just looking at what the monthly payment would be or not just looking at what the cost would be, but how the purchase of that particular item would affect their overall charge, their overall march to getting to zero debt so they can start building a very strong portfolio for themselves. You know, the program has a myriad of features throughout it that can be utilized to ask these questions. Now, if in this context John and Rebecca wanted to go ahead and buy the ATV, they'd go ahead and purchase it. After they've got their sales contract, they'd go into accounts. They would load that into their accounts with their start date, their payment, everything that's involved, and they would remove this item from here. So what I'm going to do for right now is I'm just going to leave the item sit there so you know that we did this. All right, I've heard a lot of people asking me questions about, you know, the program, you know, how easily does it function? I hope that I've shown you a very easy functionality to this program. I do want to show you another feature in the program, and I'm going to have to go into another account. So I'm going to go into Reset Accounts again. And I'm going to go over here to Multiple Downloaded Transactions, okay? Now, I've had people ask me the question, Mac, you know, I hear that you can connect directly to your lenders. Does that just put everything on autopilot for me? And the answer to that question is no. It doesn't put it on complete autopilot. What will happen is, as you've seen your action plan, the old action plan that you saw, when you connect directly to a lender, and the way you do that is you go into accounts, and through these accounts you can add new account, and then you can see that you can add account online. If it's a major lending institution or a major account holder, you will be able to add them online. You'll search for them, then you'll have to use your username and password to get in, and that will connect that account to the program. Now, when you use that account, let's say it's your checking account or your savings account, when you use your debit card at the grocery store, or you pay your car bill, or you pay your mortgage payment, it will come into your program 24 hours later listed just like this, downloaded transactions to be confirmed. It'll bring everything up on the window just like this, showing where the money was coming from and where it was paid to, where the money was coming from, where it was paid to, where the source is it's coming from, and where it's going to. If you select all, the same thing holds true here. You can confirm multiple actions, and again, you have to make sure they have a category, and once you've categorized them, it will save those categories. So this one right here, we're just going to put to entertainment. And this one down here, we're going to just say the savings for right now. And we're going to click Final Transaction. Now, the idea here is before these items are integrated into your program, you want to verify the dollar amount, you want to verify the date, you want to verify where the money came from and where the money went to. I've had more clients than I care to mention that have contacted support and said, hey, I got my downloaded transactions, and I see a transaction here for $85, and I never made this transaction, but it populated to my account, and support tells them, well, why don't you go look at your actual statement from your bank. They pull the bank statement, they see that transaction and realize, hey, that's not my transaction. So this program has helped more people than I care to mention track fraud as well. Seeing a transaction download that they did not perform gets them to check their own bank statement. They find the transaction, call the lender, and dispute the charge. In this case, we're going to say that all these transactions were normal, that they all came in, and you verified your dollar amounts, you confirmed everything, made sure it was all correct, then you confirm the transactions, and what you see will happen is you'll see that they are removed. It no longer says downloadable transactions, okay? All right, so let's go back in here to settings. Let's go back and let's reset this account. And let's jump back in here to the checking and savings, and we're going to reset that. And we're back to our very beginning. So I did want to do something for you all just to kind of give you an idea of how powerful the program truly is. Right now, John and Rebecca are set to pay off in 9.3 years, and they're set to pay back $68,459. So my question that I want to ask the program, you can go into your preferences here, and in your preferences, you can set up a low, medium, or high savings fund, or you can set up an other. So what I want to ask the question to the program is, okay, if they're going to pay everything off in 9.3 years, would it be possible just through the program for me to have $250,000 in savings in the same amount of time it would have taken me to pay off my mortgage and have my debt paid back? So what I'm telling the program right now is I want all of my debt paid off, and I want $250,000 in savings. Let's see how long it takes me to do that. All right, it's saying I can have $250,000 in savings in 16.9 years. Let's go ahead and see how long would it take me if I wanted $500,000. Now what this is saying is whatever time it's giving us here, this is the home paid off, this is the line of credit, the mortgage, the car, the visa, this is everything paid in full to zero, and you have $500,000 in savings. All right, let's move it up a little bit. Do you think we could have $750,000 in savings in the same amount of time it would have taken them just to pay off their mortgage? Remember, we haven't hit 30 years yet here in years to pay off. With $750,000, it's going to take us 26.8 years to get to $750,000 and pay off all of our debts. Let's just try one more, see if it explodes. $1 million, all of our debt paid off. Can we do it in under 30 years? Look at that. 30 years right on the dot. We would have all of these debts paid off, everything that was listed in accounts staying on the same budget. We have not increased our budget whatsoever. But you can see the program is telling you that your potential to save interest is just 24 cents now. And that's because trying to save that $1 million and pay your debt off is going to take you the full 30 years, and you are going to pay a full $241,746 in total interest to get there. But here's the point I want you to see. John and Rebecca, before they ever saw the program, had 30 years left to pay on a mortgage. That's all they were going to do. Now John and Rebecca have a program where they can ask it questions, where they can connect directly to the bank, where it leads them just like a GPS. When they get out of budget, it begins to follow them and correct their course. They can ask program questions about purchases to find out if this is a good purchase to make at this time and how it would integrate with everything that they have. Now, obviously, your rate of savings, interest rate on your savings account is going to have a bearing, but we're just trying to give you examples here, and this is just using a savings account. What I want you to think about is, what are you investing in currently? The real thought here is, If you could pay all of your debt off in 9.3 years, where we started originally, what could you do with 21 years of mortgage payments? What could you invest in? What type of a portfolio could you build for yourself? What the program offers you is not just debt elimination, but the ability to look at all of your finances holistically, come up with a plan that works for you with putting in your preferences, how much money you want saved by the time you pay your debt off, where you want to concentrate. You know, we have these scenarios, and the last one I want to show you here is going into reset account real quick. We're going to reset this account, and we're going to go to multiple properties. Now, in multiple properties, I know many of you that are on the call have multiple mortgages, have worked with multiple properties, want to know if this worked. This is not a management program for your multiple properties, but it's the most aggressive program that I've ever seen for being able to eliminate properties. Now, you can see in this particular account, we have right now 10 mortgages that are in this program, and we can see all of these mortgages listed here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the assumption, we're going to put $1,659,522 is remaining interest, 20 years to pay all of this off, and potential to save $1,426,916. Now, let's say that we paid this home off, okay? So let's say that we went through the process and this home got paid off. Or let's say, let's say that this home got paid off. So I'm going to go ahead and edit. And I'm going to go ahead and delete this mortgage, showing that it's been paid off. This isn't the right way to do it, but I'm just doing it for time to show that that mortgage has been paid off. And we notice the house payment is $729, okay? So we'll say this house has now been paid off, and we see that it goes down to 17.9 years and $1,364,184. And we go down to 17.9 years. Now watch this. What if I was to get a renter in that house? And I'm going to go in and I'm going to edit income, and I'm going to put add income, and I'm going to put a rental for this run house. So we're going to put rental 1. And we're going to do this in June because I haven't changed anything. So we're going to go back to June. We're going to say June 1st. And since the mortgage payment was $746, we're going to say that we could easily rent this place for $1,000. Does that sound fair to everybody? All right, so mortgage rental 1, we're going to go ahead and we're going to save this information. And now look what happens to our screen. By just having that income on that particular mortgage, we go to 16.5 years. We go to $1,000,002 remaining instead of $1,000,006. We got it down to $1,000,003 when we paid off that house. We're now at $1,000,002. We're at 16.5, and we're at $1,729,000. This program is the most dynamic program that I have ever seen. I have never seen a program that actually keeps pace with the client and keeps pace with their spending. This is not a static look at your finances. What the Worth account offers you is a true financial GPS with true state-of-the-art functionality, capacity, and connection. We invite every single person on this program to at least have a demo done for them, request that a demo be done by the individual that brought you into the program, and at the very least, get on the program. Get using the program. What we love to say with this program is there is no magic. It is all math. See your way to a brighter future with Worth Unlimited and the Worth Account program. Let yourself have the opportunity to be able to be successful in today's market space, whether that be in a down economy or that be in an up economy or whatever transitions may be going on in your life, just look to Worth Unlimited and the Worth account to declare your financial independence. I want to thank everyone for joining me this evening for the Worth account demonstration. Get with the person that invited you to the call. Let's get out there and do it big. Let's get out there and do it right. But at the very least, let's get out there and do it right now. This is Max Saunders saying bye-bye for now.